Good morning, good morning, good morning. Welcome to Speak On It. I am your boy, R.W. Coolins. First and foremost, giving honor to the guy who allows me to come at you in this manner on a weekly basis. Saturday morning, y'all, 10 a.m. Eastern, 7 a.m. Pacific. That's what we do here. Let me slow down for a minute. That's what we do here every Saturday morning here on the Speak On It show. rwcoolins.com. That's the website. You can go there. It needs to be updated, so don't y'all judge me. Also, R.W. Coolins over all social media platforms. Go there, follow, share, like, subscribe. Do what you do. 844-904-2665. That's 844-904-2665. No matter what the situation is, let your voice be heard. Always say is, if you call in, say what you mean what you say. That's all we ask. That's all we ever ask here on the Speak On the Show. Today, it's an unscripted Saturday. And it wouldn't be an unscripted Saturday without a guest. My boy, my partner, OT, let me go ahead and bring him in. What's going on, my brother?
Let's go, partner. What's going on with you, bro?
He in the back ready to roll. What's up, man?
Let's go.
What's going on, man?
Oh, what's happening? Listen, man. Good morning, bro.
Morning, bro. Good. Morning. You looking good.
Good. Man, appreciate that.
Looking good. Look like you washed your face this morning. That's a good thing.
Yeah, man. You know what, man? I did wash my face this morning. You know what I mean? I did do that. Wash the teeth and everything. Yeah, all man. Right. You know what I mean?
Definitely did that. Did you get all 64 or just the 32?
Oh, no, dude, man. Just the 28.
Does that mean you missed it? Well, we won't get into that. No, we won't.
Bro, listen, man. I tell everybody, make sure you go to the dentist. Y'all folks, y'all better start going to these dentists and stuff like that, you know.
Yeah. We got some good mornings. Nancy Obang, greetings, Mr. C. I'm waiting. Peace and blessings. Good morning, Nancy Ann. That's Nancy Ann. Good morning. Love you. Appreciate you. James Battle, my brother. I owe you a call too, brother. We got to talk. Avery Hoodie, Brian Hoodie. Appreciate you, bro. Good morning. Appreciate it. Thanks for the support. So this morning's an unscripted Saturday, and I got some things I want to talk about this morning. And first, let me apologize for last week. I had something scheduled that I forgot all about. I ain't gonna lie, you know, brother been busy, but I forgot about it, so I had to nix the show because I had things I had to take care of. But I'm back this week. We back. We doing our thing. OT, let the people know what you got going on, man. I see you back interviewing and everything. What's going on?
Oh, man. Well, you know, just back at it now. You know, good guests still coming on. Okay. Right now, let's see, I had a therapist on. You know, we talked about relationships. Now, and I know you know about this right here. I'm going to have the CEO of This Is It. Down there in Atlanta, you know, all the restaurants.
Well, the barbecue joint.
Yeah. I got the founder CEO. He coming out with a documentary. So you know what I mean, I'm bringing him on. But other than that, man, hey man, I'm just here just politicking and maintaining.
Well, brother, you look like I said, I'm gonna say it again. You look good, bro. You look good, man. Bro. You looking
Listen,
good,
man. Stress is gone, Pippin. Stress. You know what I'm saying? Listen, man. Stress, man. I tell anybody, hey, love yourself. stress is something serious, bro.
It's real. It's real.
Yeah.
It's real.
Yeah.
It's real.
Yeah, man.
And it's one of those things that is one of those most overlooked things, I think, is that, and I'm just gonna put it out here like this. A lot of times we don't realize how much the stress is until we out of the situation that's bringing us the stress.
Woo!
You know what I'm saying?
Woo! Amen. Amen. Good amen this morning. Good amen this morning.
Brother Mac, I owe you a call too, bro. I appreciate you. Thanks for tuning in. Hey, look, anybody, let's see, where's it go? In the comments, if you look in the comments, anybody's listening, that link that's in there, the StreamYard link, that's the link if you want to come in on video and participate in the show today. We're just going to be chopping it up, talking about different things. So if you want to come, it's on YouTube. The link is there in the YouTube, and it's also there in the comments of Facebook. If you want to come in on the show, just click the link, copy and paste the link into your thing, and it'll bring you into the waiting room, and I'll bring you in if you want to join the conversation. Don't be scared.
Don't be scared.
We ain't gonna hurt nobody. So let's get into this, man, because there's I don't even know where I want to start at, man. I really don't, bro. There's a lot. Let me just say it this way before we get into this. Do you know whose birthday was yesterday, bro?
Yeah, Malcolm X.
Look at you.
Yeah.
How many other people do that?
Probably you want me to say about maybe 2 or 3%? Probably.
And I bring this up this morning. Malcolm X, birthday. He would have been 98 years old. I bring this up about Malcolm X today as far as celebrating his birthday, recognizing his birthday, is because Malcolm X, to me, now this is just my opinion, is one of the most overlooked. I'm gonna say overlooked. I'm gonna use the word overlooked. People in our movement that doesn't get the recognition until there's a movie, or we want to wear hats that got an X on it, or t-shirts with an X on. Because you go back in the 80s and the 90s, the late 80s, early 90s, we had the African medallions hanging, the Malcolm X shirts, the Malcolm X hats, and all this. And you look at 2023 right now, and his birthday is just a blip on our radar screen.
Yeah.
What's happened, bro? What is going on in our society? And I say this way. We always hear about Malcolm X. Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., his contributions to civil rights, the movement, everything like that. But with Malcolm X, we hear it, but I don't think we truly appreciate what he did during that time. And I don't know if it's dealing with because of the religious aspect of being, Nation of Islam, whether his wording was different because of by any means necessary. Help me out, bro, because I don't want to keep going down this rabbit hole. So
man, I gotta say this, right? He is one of the underrated leaders that we really don't talk about as much, right? So let's just put away the religion aspect of it.
Okay.
As this black man talk about what we need to do far as in the community, far as the women, far as everything that we need to do today, it is still relevant. Right? And they don't want to talk about it because of I feel like the religion aspect of it.
Well, let me ask you this. I don't want to cut you off, but let me ask you this because you said they. Who's they?
They is, and I know we always get on this part right
No,
here.
go ahead.
Right,
That's
right,
why I'm
right,
asking.
right.
Right.
They
Go ahead.
is people.
But who's those people? That's
All
what I
of
want
us.
to. That's what I
All,
want to dig into. You know what
all
I'm
of
saying?
us. All of us. All of us. All of
Right,
us.
because we're
All of us.
guilty as well. That's why
Yes,
I wanted to
yes.
say who is
All of
they.
us.
Right.
All of us.
So we
They
should
is
say
all of us.
us,
No,
we.
well, we, us, all of them.
Oh no. See, you can't be on here and use proper English. It's not all of them. It's all of them. All of them.
All of
All of them.
them. We gotta get all of them. All
All
of
of them.
them.
All of them.
Yeah, man. And it is missing out of history books.
Mm-hmm.
You really rarely hear about him, especially in the history books. Just like a lot of other African Americans who have done a lot. And he's one of them, man. He's one of them. And people misconstrue the, by any means necessary. Like by any means necessary, he was protecting his family.
Protected.
By any means necessary. 100% of America will protect their family by any means necessary.
Oh, of course.
And that's is something that a lot of people get miscrewed because they're like, oh, by any means necessary, he's talking about, killing the white man. By any means necessary, he's talking about that. No, he was talking about protecting his family by any means necessary, making sure that they are good.
But you know, it's something you just said that's funny about that. Because you said that when he was saying this, people took it and said he's talking about killing a white man.
Yeah.
But let's back that up for a minute. When he said by any means necessary, he was talking about protecting himself from the white man who was killing us at an enormous rate just because of how we looked and what we wanted.
Mm-hmm.
That's the part. And I want to say this. I want to put this caveat. This picture I put up here,
I love it.
Is one of my favorite pictures, man.
I love it.
This is one of my favorite pictures of Malcolm X. And there's many of them, don't get me wrong, but this one here. And I think the reason that I fell in love with this picture of Malcolm X is, they say the eyes are how they say it, to the soul. Eyes are the doorway to the soul, something to that extent. When I look at this picture, I always ask, what was he dealing with? Other than what we know and what we perceive to know, what was he dealing with? And that's why when I look at this picture, anytime I plan to put this picture on my wall in my pool room, but one of the things about this picture is we see the man, we see the deep thought of the picture, but we don't know what kind of battles he was fighting other than the battles we know of the struggle.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, I just wanted to recognize it because there's a lot of people didn't know it was his birthday.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
May 19th, 1925 would have made him 98 years old. Malcolm X.
Here it is.
So I bring up Malcolm X. And as you see, I got my legacy shirt on today.
True story. Go ahead.
Because we lost an icon yesterday as well. By the name of Jim Brown.
Yes, sir.
Jim Brown. And let me go here. This picture here is from, this was 54 years ago. Yeah, June 4th, 1967. This is when Ali was, objecting to going to Vietnam. So Jim Brown called this group of athletes together to Cleveland, Ohio, for them to support Ali. Initially, the report was that they went there to talk Ali out of objecting to going. But he changed their mind because they realized how engrossed he was and how strongly he felt about his religion at the time when he changed over to being Muslim. But I brought this picture up because I want to caveat a little bit. First of all, let's give Jim Brown his flowers.
Yes, sir.
For the work he did for us in the communities, the work he did for the struggle. He was an athlete, great athlete, decided to walk away from being an athlete to becoming an actor and then transition into the movement as far as, but he was always in the movement. Let me put it that way. But all these people in this picture, you see Bill Russell, you see Muhammad Ali, you see Lou Alcindor at the time because he hadn't changed yet. He hadn't changed his name to Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. But all these other guys in the background, and there's one guy in the back that you really can't see his face, and I couldn't find his name. And I want to run down all the names, and I got them here somewhere. There they are right there on the screen. OT, we dropped OT, but he'll be back in a minute, y'all. But in this picture, I want to run these guys down. So you see Bill Russell, Muhammad Ali, Jim Brown, Lou Alcindor, a.k.a. Muhammad Ali at this point. I mean, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Then you have Carl Stokes, Walter Beach, Bobby Mitchell, Curtis McClinton, Willie Davis, Jim Shorter, and John Wooten. And like I said, there's another person in the back that you really can't see his face. You see the top of his head, but you can't see his face. But in this meeting they came together, and it was all about Muhammad Ali when he was objecting to the Vietnam War. Now, mind you, Ali ended up going to jail anyway after this for being a conscientious objector or whatever, because he didn't want to go Vietnam fighting the war. They took his belts and everything and so forth and so forth. But I bring this up today, the day after the death of Jim Brown, to show how he was so deeply involved in things that were going on back then and even up to the day he died. Jim Brown was, as I mentioned, was a great athlete. However, he was more than an athlete, which is something we hear. It's a slogan I think LeBron came up with, and they got these shirts out and everything, more than an athlete, because these guys are more than that. They're involved in things that some of us don't know about. They're doing things in the community that we could probably only wish that we were a part of. All these things come into play. And then when you talk about Jim Brown, yeah, a lot of people will hold on to the fact of, he was arrested for some domestic violence at times and different things like that. But I'm going to ask the question, and OT, thanks, now that you're back, ask the question, when you talk about Jim Brown, should his transgressions be at the forefront of who he is as a man, or should we look at everything he's done as a man to help his people?
I think we need to look at everything that he does as a man for his people.
Right. Because we all have fault. We all have flaws. We all have faults.
Mm-hmm.
But some people just want to concentrate on our shortcomings rather than the long run of what we're doing consistently over time.
Facts.
Jim Brown, to me, I mean, he held all the records before he ended up walking away from football. Let's start there.
Yeah.
There was a lot of controversy when he went into acting because he had a sex scene. One of his first movies was a sex scene with Raquel Welch, back in the day. A lot of white people was mad about that. They loved him as a football player, couldn't stand him as an actor when he got there, when he had that one scene. Let's just be real. Let's put it out there like it is. I mean, they loved him when he was running the football, but then when they seen him up there on the movie screen, having sex with one of their most, greatest good-looking women, as they say, he was like, whoa, wait a minute.
Banging that back out.
Go Jim, run that touchdown. Wait a minute. Put your hands where my eyes can see. But that's what we deal with, man. But he made a transition, and his transition was seamless. A lot of people were upset when he walked away, but people don't know this either. At Syracuse University, where he went to college, he was also one of the greatest lacrosse players that ever played the game in college, along with playing football.
Message.
But yeah, but 54 years ago, next month, this is where they had this, and they called it the Summit. I want to get the name right. You remember what they called it? I'm trying to find it, man. It was because at first they called it the Ali Summit, and then they changed it up and said, no, that's not what it was. It wasn't they called it the Cleveland Summit. I'm sorry, the Cleveland Summit. We lost an icon, man.
Yeah, we did.
I'm not even going to get into all the stuff that I printed out and read about Jim Brown, because it won't do him justice. But we lost an icon. And it leads into the conversation I want to have when we just talked about Malcolm X. And now I want to talk about Jim Brown. We're losing icons daily. They have been in the struggle for us. We're losing them because they're getting up in age.
Yeah.
So something we talked about before, and that's why I wanted you on today. Something we've talked about before. And we said, people thought we was arguing, but we was having a discussion.
Right.
People thought we was arguing, but we were having a discussion. Yeah. Well, it is what it is.
Right.
But the discussion we were having was about agenda.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody having the same agenda.
Yeah.
Right. And I want to take it a step further now. Not with the agenda, but who are our next leaders? As we mentioned, and you said, I think you had said, or I had said, I can't remember because it's been a while, but I think my stance was we can't look for one leader. We all have to step into these pockets of being leaders.
Yes.
Which led into the agenda part and saying everybody, we don't have to be on the same agenda because you can be doing something, I could be doing something, but we're all going for the same thing, basically. Mm-hmm. He said. When I was talking to my wife before it came on, she caught, when we were just having a kind of little discussion, mm-hmm. just a little bit. And she led into what I was going to talk about today. And it was just ironic because she said, we're losing our icons, but who's picking up the mantle? Who's picking up the torch? Who's picking up the baton to move us forward to continue this battle that we're still fighting? Because here's the thing, and I want you to jump in after this, but here's the thing, LT. I think what we lose sight is the same things that they were fighting for then, we're still fighting for now.
Yes.
Yep. And I think we lose sight of that because of where we are now, as far as where we think we're equal, or we think we have the same opportunities, or we think that we're not looked at in the same way or the same manner. We're still fighting.
Yes, we are.
And if you need a reminder, I'm going to give you two. Jordan Neely and Daniel Penny. Daniel Penny had Jordan Neely in a chokehold, killed him on the subway, and you got people out here that are doing fundraisers for Daniel Penny's defense against murder that we all seen on the subway. You have a video out where there was a young white woman and some black men who were getting an electric bike off of a charger that somebody put a credit card up for, and the white woman would not let the bike go, saying that she paid for it, when all the brothers that were there, the young men that were there, saying they paid for it, and she's arguing back and forth with him. And then when someone walks up to try to find out what's going on, who was a white male, she starts acting like she's crying. Mm-hmm. Now she's a victim. She goes into victim mode. She's acting like she's threatened. She's acting like they're doing this, they're doing that. Then you have Marjorie Taylor Greene on the Capitol steps arguing with Representative Jamal Bowman. These are two representatives, him from New York, her from Georgia, stand on the steps arguing back and forth about different things. They were going back and forth about stuff or whatever. But then she comes out the next day. Now, mind you, they're arguing and going back and forth, but at the same time, they're kind of smiling and laughing and everything. Then the next day, she goes and has a press conference saying that she felt threatened by Jamal Bowman, that he's out of control. He's this, he's that, the normal spin they put on it.
All the time.
And then we feel that because we have houses now, we have jobs now, we have the things that we didn't have when Jim Brown and Malcolm X and Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King and all those that marched for us were fighting, that we don't still have the same issues. But if you sit back and watch, the same things that were going on then when they killed Emmett Till are still going on now with the woman with the bike and Marjorie Taylor Greene. Mm-hmm. Go ahead, man. Take it. I can't go no more.
I mean, it's the truth. It's the truth. And I forgot we was talking about this probably about was it 6 months ago? Mm-hmm. About how the things that they was fighting for in the 50s and the 60s is still going on today at this present time. And we think things have changed, but things really haven't changed. Matter of fact, they're trying to take back some of the stuff that did change.
Well, you bring up, let me ask you a question when you say that though. Mm-hmm. You said they trying to take back some of the things that they did change. Yeah. But I will ask this question. Because back in the day we used to call it Indian giver.
Yeah, what? What?
But I'm gonna ask you this question, man, because you bring up a good point. So if they're trying to take it back, as you say, as we all think there's, we see the voting rights, the civil rights, all these different things that they want to relinquish. They don't want to say they're taking them back. They want to relinquish them or change them for what they are.
Basically.
So the question I'll ask is, did we ever have it? Because if it's that easy for someone to step in and say, well, I don't think the voting rights that they have should be as they are written now. Because if you remember, you say take them back, but here's the thing, OT, and I'm gonna let you say this. When the Constitution, the amendments, and everything was written, we weren't included in that verbiage.
Bruh,
so I'm gonna ask you again: Are they taking it back? Because you can't take back something that was never there.
Yeah.
By interjecting and adding this in and adding that in, you never gave us anything. You just put some pen and ink changes to something to make it seem like these things are being changed. But if it's that easy to change it back, then was it ever truly given?
That's a message right there, bro. That's a message. I listen. I am speechless. I'm always talking. I am speechless. When the truth come out, I'm speechless.
Well, I asked that because the things like you said about 6 months ago, we had the same conversation. If the things we're fighting for now look the same as they did when they were fighting for them then, and we can go back even before Malcolm X, Jim Brown, Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. We can go all the way back to Frederick Douglass. Before Frederick Douglass, we can go all the way back. But if we're fighting for those same things now, we always say they're taking it back. They're taking this back. They're taking that back. Was it ever given? And why should we even have to use the words of being given? In the Constitution and amendments, it said it is a right. And somewhere in the Bible, it says the same thing.
Yes, it does.
So technically, you're giving me something per se that I've already earned as a human being.
Yep, I already had a right to it.
As being born, I have a right to it. James Battle, please let Tim Scott know that he's not aware of any of those things.
Brother James.
And you segue so greatly for me, my brother. I appreciate that. Because I want to talk about him. I want to talk about I can't remember his name, but there's another guy. He's a representative that's been all over CNN lately and everything. I guess since they got rid of Don Lemon, they got this other guy that's coming on. He's a Republican, but he's coming on there to try to, as a what do they call it? Pundit, I guess. But I was having this conversation with somebody yesterday. I'm not going to put his name out there, but we talked about Tim Scott. We talked about Clarence Thomas. We talked about these guys. And you always hear me say this. I don't like to call these guys out their name. But at the same time, when you talk about the Tim Scotts, the Clarence Thomas, I don't think any of us, and is this something we got to work on too? We can disagree. We can agree to disagree on the message that you may have. But we shouldn't have let the message that you have in our disagreement cause you to overlook their accomplishments. Sometimes we get caught up in that now. And I say that because if we're going to talk about Jim Brown and everything he's accomplished, and then say that we shouldn't concentrate on the things that minimize maybe his accomplishments as far as things he's done, his transgressions and everything like that, and we need to use that same mentality when we talk about the Tim Scotts and the Clarence Thomases and all these, because these guys didn't get where they're at just because. And the reason I say that is a lot of people would think that because the Republicans, they got there just because. However, I want you to think about this, and I said this yesterday, and I'm going to say it again today. Tim Scott, very educated. Maybe not on the things about what's right and wrong with black folks and the interactions and race relations,
but he is educated. Yeah, he is educated.
Clarence Thomas, only the second African-American to ever serve on the Supreme Court. He didn't get there just by chance. He had his work. We don't know his struggles. We don't know what he's been through. We don't know anything that he's had to fight to get there. Has he lost his way? We could probably say that. But at the same time, I want you to look at this part. And a lot of people get mad when I say this, but I'm going to say it. President Barack Obama became president after serving one term as a U.S. Senator. And as a U.S. Senator, Barack Obama was elevated to the position to be able to run for president. Why? Because he gave one speech at the Democratic National Convention. And the people at that place at that time seen him and how he orated, being a great orator, and decided that's him.
Gave him a standing ovation.
That's him. Yeah, but a standing ovation don't.
Bruh, a standing ovation.
Standing ovation don't make you president.
But boy, oh boy. Woo.
But you see what you see where I'm going.
Yeah.
I want people to sit back for a minute and understand. Barack Obama was catapulted to the position of where he was at to be able to run as a nominee for president of the United States because of one speech. Now, we all know the work he did in Chicago, but that's Chicago. Nobody knew about the work he was doing in Chicago, but the people in Chicago. So before we start vilifying the Clarence Thomas, the Tim Scotts, and don't get me wrong, I don't agree with a lot of their stances on what they stand on. But we can't minimize their accomplishments if we're not going to look at the fact of how Barack Obama got to the prominence that he was at. You have to be consistent in how we look at these things. A lot of people will agree, a lot of people won't. But we have to look at it because if Barack Obama would have ran for president without the backing of all those in the Democratic Party, he wouldn't have been president.
Yeah.
You wouldn't have known who he was. He was just a U.S. Senator. Tim Scott, he's just a U.S. Senator. I'm just putting it out there. Before we tear down, we got to look at the bigger picture, man. We got to start looking at the bigger picture. And the thing is, Tim Scott's politics and what he speaks. I asked this question someday. OT, help me out here. Answer this. And I want you to be honest. Do you think in your heart of hearts that Tim Scott, Clarence Thomas, Candace Owens, Jason Whitlock, I can go down the list, all the ones that supported Trump at the time, do you think in their heart of hearts that they truly believe everything they spew on a consistent basis that goes against what we know our people have dealt with and struggled with and still fighting for?
No. In heart of hearts, nah.
So then I'll ask you this as a caveat.
Got to put on a facade.
But why?
That's what keep them paid, ain't it? That's what. Ain't that what keep them paid? Ain't that what people keep goddamn going to their page and clicking it? All right, they keep them paid. Media keep them paid. Controversy keep them paid.
So as I say, people say money is the root of all evil. Stop that. Money is not the root of all evil. Money makes people become evil.
Money makes people, if you was already selfish, you just get more money, you just become more selfish. Right? If you was already a giver, you get more money, you be a giver. It just,
you think so?
Yeah. Listen. If you was already arrogant, boy, you get more money, you be arrogant.
Okay. I'm glad you said that. We're going to leave Tim Scott and them alone. And we're going to transition to where I want to go next. So you telling me that John Morant is acting the way he is and showing that gun because he got money and he had money before he was flashing gun? Come on, bro.
No.
Money is, I'll put it in this caveat.
So here it is, right?
Okay.
John Morant was like that. Want to be
was
down?
It?
Hey, I'm listening. Ja Morant was like that. Don't take the facade
When
of
you say
him
like
coming
what? Like what? Like what?
like the way he is now.
How is he? And the reason I
Outspoken,
asked that,
don't care,
reason
basically,
I asked that,
don't care.
is that who he is because we're judging John Morant and his transgressions
Mm-hmm.
off of 2 clips
Yeah,
on the
yeah,
Instagram.
yeah.
So who is John Morant? We don't know. We truly do not know. We know he's a great basketball player. We know that the pundits would tell you because he's out here doing what he's doing, he's about to throw it all away. But do we truly know? Because here's the other part I'll put in there. There are gangbangers, certified Crips, Bloods,
Yeah.
that say he ain't about that life.
Mm-hmm.
They say he ain't about that life. And the other thing they say is, because I read a lot of things, another thing they say is he better be careful running around throwing them signs and carrying on. Because if you ain't a member of them things, and we all hear the things, if you ain't a member of that and you throwing them signs, you disrespecting them. So I'm gonna ask you, is he about that life?
But let's ask that question. We really don't know unless we hung around him. So
That's my point.
he could have been about that life, and you just didn't know it because now you just starting to know who John Morant is, right? As a kid, okay, so let me say this. As a kid, right?
Mhm.
People misconstrue coming from a two-parent home of the kid should be, a certain way, right? I came from a two-parent home, and baby, boy, totally different, right? My brother, two-parent home, totally different, right? And people try to put that in like, oh, he had his mom and dad. So listen, when he walked out that door, I was a different person, totally different person. When I came back in the door, I'm the sweet
Pulled
Olive.
your pants
But
up.
right,
Pull
right,
your
right,
pants up.
right. But out there, I was. That's why I got the nickname Taz, because boy, ready for anything.
Yeah. Hold on, James Battle got something about what we were talking about before. I agree.
Okay.
Some people get to where they are because they are a tool. We just have to decide which tool is best for what we want to accomplish. Yeah, you can't use a screwdriver when you need a hammer.
Right.
Good point. Tim Scott is the wrong tool for what I'm trying to accomplish. He's good for some people, and they are using him to accomplish their goals. Facts.
Facts.
I got to go with that.
Big facts. Big facts.
Got to go with that. That's a good point. Good point.
Facts.
Now on John Morant. So you're telling me. No, I mean, and when I say this, the media and everybody is telling me that this is who John Morant has always been.
Been a happy person, man. He like to be happy.
Well,
free. He free spirit, ain't?
No, and I don't. Here's my thing. And I heard JJ Redick. I heard JJ Redick say this, and I heard some other people say this. It's one thing to hold him accountable for doing something with the gun. It's another thing to hold him accountable for just having a gun.
Mm-hmm.
I understand the perception, the visuals, all that. But at the same time, and I said this before and I'll say it again, we got people walking down the streets every day with rifles buried across their chest. We had people in Washington, D.C. on Mother's Day.
Woo!
On Mother's Day. White supremacists walking down in D.C. with masks on and tiki torches and walking down the middle of the street in D.C. And there was a blip about it on the news. But John Morant having a gun on Instagram for the second time is international, national, whatever news. The white supremacy are more of a threat to me than John Morant is with a 9mm. That's my opinion.
I got something to say about that too, because I feel some kind of way, right? Because we sit up here and we scrutinize John Morant for having a gun, but and they cancel him. He's losing contracts and stuff like that,
which is the first thing they do,
right? But how is it okay that we got presidents holding up guns, right? Got pictures of it. I don't see nobody canceling them, right? So what makes John Morant different
You know what makes him different.
Hey, listen, man. No, because we ain't gonna say that. We ain't gonna say that.
Well, you
No,
better.
no,
Okay,
no,
you gonna
because the
overlook that?
president had one. The president had one. Barack Obama had one. They got a full-grown clip, right? So what makes him different? What, leader of the people, right? People look up to him. He's a role model, right? Right? All those things, right? That makes him different, right? But we got people that are showing guns and videos and stuff like that, and we ain't canceling them. We ain't taking none of their stuff away. So why is it? And mind you, he ain't hurt nobody. And I totally agree, he didn't hurt nobody. Listen, the man worth what, $230 million. Shit, I have a goddamn gun too. Let you know, you come up on me, we're gonna have some problems. I mean, hey, ain't it free? I mean, the man got his license for it. He got his license to carry. So,
that we know of.
So why is it a problem?
Well, and I'm a caveat on what you said. This is one of the problems I had. If they don't turn them daggone cameras off, I don't know.
Tell
I
his
don't know
homie
who.
to stop.
I don't know who is. I don't know who his paid photographer, videographer is, but he need to fire him.
No,
he need to fire.
No, but if you notice, soon as he seen it, man, my man put that thing down so fast, bro. When he seen that he did it, he put that phone down fast. Like, I guess, when you're on live, you don't think that the other person do something like that, right? But once again, social media now, everything is going to be scrutinized.
But I think we need to stop blaming social media for everything, though. And the reason I say that is we need to stop blaming social media, because you have a choice when it comes to social media, whether you want to post anything or not. Mm-hmm. And at the end of the day, when people decide to put their life out like that, you can't come back and say, "Oh, social media did it." But no, you did it because you was posing for the camera. And the thing about it, let me read James Battle's comment. He's a black athlete. He must be a thug. Trump said the cop that shot the lady during the coup attempt is a thug. He was a cop. He's supposed to have a gun. Exactly. And I'm glad James Battle said that, because I want to bring up something. Yeah. Why are we always portrayed when we do something, whether we're defending ourselves, whether this, that, or whatever, we're a thug? I want people to think about something. They always label us as the angry black man, the angry black woman, the angry this, the angry that, and all this kind of stuff. I'm going to ask this question. It's rhetorical, but you can answer if you want. From what we know through history in this United States of America, and they call us savages, animals, who has done the most savage, animalistic, territorial acts in this country? I get tired of hearing this label of us being this, and I'm being transparent today, bro, because I'm tired. My mind is weary and my body is tired. I'm tired of seeing, and here's the other part. I also have a problem with the ones that look like us. And I'm gonna give you a prime example. Charles Barkley, Shaquille O'Neal sit up on the stage on TNT. And don't get me wrong, I like the show, but they starting to get under my skin. Them, Stephen A. Smith, Shannon Sharp, these people that have these, and people probably say the same thing about me. You say what you want, but I'm just telling you my opinion about them. I'm just gonna put it out there. But I have a problem with them sitting up there and vilifying Ja Morant for having the gun, but then in the same breath, down talking these athletes who may have a bad game, who doesn't perform at the top of his game for a game or two or anything like that, and act like they have never made mistakes, that they've never had a bad game. And they get into this thing of going and trying to minimize the accomplishments of these guys because now they have a microphone, they have a stage that they sit on. I have a problem with that. And the reason I have a problem with that is because, yes, you're accomplished. Yes, you're in the Hall of Fame. You got all the accolades you can ask for. But everything about your background ain't been rosy either. Every game you ever played, you didn't play at your fullest potential at your job. And I want people to understand that at your job, each day you go in there, you can't tell me that you give 100% every day. And if you do, there's other caveats that cause you not to be able to give that 100%. Because we don't know what happened when you walked out the door. When they vilify Anthony Davis because he didn't have so many rebounds or so many this or so many that, it bothers me because we're the ones doing this. We're the ones doing this to our own people. And that's why when I started this show, I said, we got to get to the point where the agendas are different. We're looking for leaders, but you can't depend on people who in one breath will praise you, but will be louder when they vilify you. And then when whatever they vilified you for comes out to maybe not be true, the apology is a whole lot quieter than the accusation. I just have a problem with that, man. And it's starting to, I'm getting.
Tell them why you mad.
I'm becoming an old man, bro. I'm becoming that brother. I'm becoming that brother back home. Everybody got one in their hometown. I'm becoming that brother that used to sit out on the street corner on a broke down lawn chair and just complain about anybody, everybody walking by. That's where I'm at right now. I'm sorry. I got to admit it. I'm not the angry man. I'm just upset. I'm old. I'm getting old. I'm getting old, bro. I'm getting to the point where little things just don't sit well with me. And a lot of it is driven off our experiences.
Oh, man.
Because I've been vilified. I've been talked about. I've been, all these different things that I see them doing to these guys, I can relate to. All of us can probably relate to somehow, some way.
Yes.
So when we see these things, it should upset us that this is happening to somebody. When we talk about John Morant, he had a gun. Okay, he had a gun. It's the second time. Back where I was, I told you get 3 strikes. That's only the second one. Are we changing the narrative now? Because we have people in our past slang that rock, slang drugs out there, got people addicted to drugs and all this kind of stuff. But when we see them now and they're doing something better with their life, we give them the benefit of the doubt that that was the past. Prime examples, Jay-Z. How many families did Jay-Z affect when he was out there selling drugs compared to now where everybody puts him on his pedestal as the greatest rapper alive? We give him the benefit of the doubt. But we don't give some of these other people the benefit of the doubt. We just vilify them and try to tear them down. And some of that, a lot of that, comes from jealousy and envy. Because you can't do what he does, Stephen A. Smith. I'll call him out. Because you can't do what John Morant does. You can't do what Kyrie Irving does. You can't do what these other athletes do because you tried to be an athlete, didn't make it, tore your knee, whatever you did, whatever story was. Now you're on TV. And because you're loud and you yell and all this kind of stuff, you think your point is more important than anybody else's because you're louder. But at the same time, step back for a minute. The money, the suits, the bad hairline, whatever you want to concentrate on with Stephen A. Smith does not give you the right to treat these people like they're less than nothing because you can't do what they do. That's what for me, that's what I see. That's what I see. And when you talk about Shaq and Charles, yeah, they got the accolades, they got the accomplishments, but they didn't make the money these young guys are making.
Boy, they didn't.
So is there jealousy involved in this? Because sometimes you have to step back and look at the big picture. You don't hear Michael Jordan on those shows doing this stuff and vilifying these that, and he's supposed to be the greatest player of all time. If he came out and said something, they would probably listen.
$300 million a year from Nike.
They would probably listen.
300 a year as of right now that man gets from Nike. $300 million a year.
I'm that old man, bro. I'm that old man.
So it is true what they say, huh? You know what I mean? When you start getting up there in age, listen, you don't care about anybody's feelings, right?
No, I still care. I still care. But my point is, man, I'm getting to a point where I've seen this movie too many times.
Yeah.
I'm tired of and I'm a Planet of the Apes fan. I watch them all. If a Planet of the Apes movie come on, I'm going to sit down and watch it. That's just who I am. Because I love the movies. But I can't keep watching the Fast and Furious over and over and over again. Because that's just not me. I've seen that Fast and Furious movie too many times. And I know the outcome of the Planet of the Apes. The apes are going to end up winning or losing at the end one way or another.
Right.
Normally the apes win.
Yeah. Yeah.
Go apes. But my point is, I've seen this movie too many times, and I'm tired of watching it. I'm tired of watching us as people get in trouble, and it's us who are tearing us down. But as soon as somebody that don't look like us decides to say something out of pocket, now he's wrong. Well, Charles Barkley just said the same thing. If he wrong, then he wrong. You know that yeah, and it's not that I'm that angry old man or nothing like that, bro. I'm just tired, man. I'm just tired. I guarantee. And we started off with Malcolm X.
Yeah.
And I guarantee, and I'll say that I don't want to put words in Malcolm X's mouth, but I'll say this, or Jim Brown's, or any of our predecessors that did what they did. I guarantee, in my opinion, that if they were alive today to see what's going on, they would say the same thing I'm saying. Because as much progress we feel we have made, we always hear this thing about we're setting black people back so far by doing this, this, or this, or this. Get that out your vocabulary. We ain't setting nothing back. We ain't setting nothing back. We ain't never been where we supposed to be. So how you gonna set yourself back if you ain't where you're supposed to be from the beginning? If the starting line is here, where I sit, and 3 miles up is the starting line for other folk. I don't care if you shoot the gun for me 10, 15 seconds before that, before you shoot the gun and tell them to go. I'm not going to catch up. So it's not, we got to get out of this mindset of saying that we all setting each other back or this, that. No. We've all been set back. We all just trying to win this race. That's it. That's it. But I'm mad, bro. I'm angry. No, I ain't gonna say I'm angry.
No.
I'm discouraged. I'm discouraged.
You're disappointed.
No, I'm discouraged. I ain't discouraged.
Oh man, you're discouraged.
I'm discouraged. My next shirt, I'm gonna say, it's gonna say, "Oh Lord, discouraged." I don't know, man. I don't know. One day I just woke up and said, I'm tired. Yeah. I'm tired. I'm sick and tired. Your grandparents and the older folk. I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired.
Yep.
I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired.
Yep.
I don't. I know what you waiting on. Mind, body, and soul.
Yes, sir.
Mind, body, and soul. It's the year 2023. Trying to become a better you. Trying to stop being mad and discouraged and just be better at who we are. Sometimes you got to laugh to keep from crying.
Oh, man. Yeah. Yeah, you definitely do.
The mind, body, and soul today is a question, OT.
Okay.
And I have you on here today because I want us to really, and I want the people out there to chime in on this if you have any thoughts. Mind, body, and soul. It's more of a thought than it is a quote or anything like this. In my 57 years, and how old are you now?
47.
47 years on this earth as a black man. Have you ever sat back and asked yourself, why am I perceived as a threat?
Yep.
Why am I perceived as a threat? This is food for thought today, y'all. And this goes out, and I'm putting this out here because I'm tired. Here we go again with that. I'm tired of seeing these instances where, because of who I am or who you are or who we are as a people, we're perceived as a threat. What have I done as an individual? What have you done as an individual for someone to perceive us as being a threat? Because what I know to be true, most people, when they're threatened, are normally threatened by your greatness more than the harm you may do to them.
Mm-hmm.
They are threatened by who you are as a man, your ethics, the your loyalty. All those things are a threat. But when we get out here in society and we're in certain circles where we travel, where we may be, and things happen, why was Jordan Neely a threat? And I'll go back to him again because I want to put this in perspective. We know Jordan Neely had been on that subway numerous times, dressed as Michael Jackson, performing Michael Jackson songs, because they never perceived Michael Jackson as a threat until somebody said that he was doing something with little boys. But they never perceived Michael Jackson as a threat. But you had a young man that used to be on this train imitating Michael Jackson. People watched. Some people didn't watch. Nothing. They never banned him from being on the train doing these things or anything. He was a Michael Jackson impersonator. He was never perceived as a threat. But the one day that he was on that train and had an episode as a black man, someone felt he was a threat. Mind you, he hadn't done anything to anybody, didn't do anything, didn't touch nobody, nothing like that. It has been in the reports. But he was signaled as a threat. But I will caveat that with this, because we see it over and over and over again, where other folks will cuss cops out. Mm-hmm. They'll confront people behind the counter at their fast food restaurant. They'll fill up a drink cup because they didn't get the way. They'll throw it at the person working the register. I can go on and on and on. But for some reason, they are never perceived as being a threat. When they walk into a store to go shopping or anything, nobody's following them around because they don't feel that they're a threat to steal. But if you or I walk into a high-class department store, we're perceived as a threat to steal something in that store. Why am I perceived as a threat in this society? And I'm speaking this way from a black man's perspective, because that's all I've ever been. That's all I know. Mm-hmm. After 57 years on this earth, this is all I know, is how to be a black man, how to be who I am. But I still want to know, why am I perceived as a threat? What have I done? And don't give me, and this is what people do, don't give me Chicago, Los Angeles gangbangers. Don't get that. Don't give me that. Because next time someone brings that up to you and says, well, Chicago this, well, Chicago that, I want you to bring up the lynchings, the hangings, the hunting of those who never did anything to anybody but just ask for freedom. But I'm a threat. I'm a threat. I'm perceived as a threat when history shows me I'm threatened. History has shown and proven to me that I'm an endangered species on this earth. Not only me, but anyone who looks like me, my children, my children's children, my parents, my grandparents. We are not a threat. We are threatened. Mm-hmm. Not only by violence, but by legislation, by rights, by injustice, by all the things that we say we want. We are not a threat to that. We are threatened because we're not receiving that. I say I'm tired, but I'm just getting started. I'm just getting started. See, sometimes you got to use that as fuel.
Yeah.
You got to put it in that tank and use it as fuel. James Battle, over the history of the world, white men have been the most violent and savage people of all. Ask the Native Americans, the Asians, or the Africans. It's all projection. They want you to fear us because when they get violent with you and you defend yourself, that's their excuse. I am not a threat, but I sure am threatened. Take that with you this week. Process what I just said. I am not a threat. I am threatened by your systems, by your acts of violence, by your injustices, by anything and everything that you do to prevent me and the people that look like me from becoming the greatest that we can be, whether it be through economics or just livelihood. Let that marinate. And when these people tell you that you're less than, not because you've proven that you're less than, because they perceive you to be less than, you're being threatened. They threaten you by telling you that you're not going to have your voting rights. They threaten you when you go to the polls and do the voting the right way and tell you that the election was stolen because you decided to go to the polls. When they say democracy is threatened, they don't talk about us threatening our democracy. They talk about them, the ones in power, the ones who have control of the legislation of this United States are the ones who are threatening us.
So who is them? Who's them? Who's them? Who's them? Who's them?
I can't believe that you would have the caucasity to ask me that question. And I want people to understand,
man.
I'm not talking about everybody. Let's clear this up. I'm not talking about everybody. But what I will tell you, if you have any type of allegiance to the white supremacy movement, things that are going on in this country, oh, I'm talking to you. Let me make that clear. I'm talking to you. And if you're not part of it, but you choose to turn your head and ignore it when you know about it, I'm talking to you. Because just like they can arrest a drug dealer and all the people who know he's a drug dealer, then if you know white supremacists and you're not saying nothing, then you're just as guilty as them. Guilty by association, because if you can use it for us when the crack epidemic and all that was going on, then we need to use it right now when democracy is a threat. When we're threatened with the democracy of this country that we have not been able to fully use because I'm a threat. Because I'm a threat. A threat to what? A threat about what? Why are you threatened? What have we done as a people to threaten you to the point where you vilify us? And I'll say it this way. For all you sports fans, they go and fill those bleachers up every Sunday for football or when there's a basketball game or any of those sports that you can think about. When you go out there and you sit in those bleachers and you cheer on those running backs, those wide receivers, because you know they don't want to play quarterback too much, but the quarterbacks and the wide receivers and all those athletes that look like me.
I can't tell now.
When you go out there and you support them, you're not supporting them. Because I guarantee if a situation occurred with one of those athletes that you may not know from another team, and there's a situation where that athlete is defending his stance as far as what he has a right to do, the threat mentality no matter how much money he makes, no matter how good he is at what he may do. The threat of who he is as a black man will come into play. Because this country has allowed this to continue because it's about power and control. Power and control. Because if the threat wasn't there, and I'm going to end it with this. If the threat was not there in your mind, books wouldn't be taken off shelves. Let me say it again. Books would not be taken off shelves. Malcolm X would have passed away from his own reasonings or his own health issues rather than by a bullet. Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. would have died by natural causes rather than the bullet. So when you want to call me a threat, I will ask you, why am I a threat when I continue to be threatened?
Woo. Woo.
Let's just put it, let's just call it what it is. Let's just call it what it is, man.
Man. As the old saying, Dad said, when you speak the truth, you can't say nothing.
I'm tired, bro.
So my mouth is closed.
I'm tired. I'm tired. And you know, I don't know what it is that sparked that this morning, but it was something festering to me all week. I don't know why. I haven't been myself all week. For some reason, something just wasn't sitting well. And then when I seen the death of Jim Brown, knowing what Jim Brown stood for in our community. And then when I heard about, you know, when I seen it was Malcolm X's birthday, and I seen nothing to recognize his birthday and accomplishments he's had as far as what we struggle with. And then I see and go back to the John Moran incident. And I haven't listened to a lot of news this week. CNN, I don't watch no more. That's a done deal for me. They've gone off the rails. You know, I still peep in there once in a while, just see what they're talking about with the stuff. But that's about it. But something this week, I don't know, bro. And then when I seen Marjorie Taylor Greene stand on those Capitol steps and go back and forth with Jamal Bowman, back and forth about different things, and see her come to a podium the next day, and say that she felt threatened from the conversation they had when they had their back and forth on the Capitol stairs, the Capitol of the United States of America, where everybody could see what was going on. She felt so threatened that she was able to walk away. She was able to come in the next day, process everything that happened overnight to put her in a different light than him, in spite of the fact that they were both saying and doing the same thing to defend their stances. And for her to come and say she was threatened goes back to what a lot of people said about what happened with Emmett Till, what happened with Trayvon Martin, what happened with Mike Brown, what happened with George Floyd, what happened with Jordan Neely. She put Jamal Bowman in the crosshairs of now being identified and looked at as a threat. When in all reality, with the white supremacy movement going on, Jamal Bowman is not a threat. He's threatened. For the simple fact of her putting a stamp on the fact and saying he's a threat. He's got to watch his back now.
Yep.
I just, things got to change, bro. Things got to change. Tim Scott puts out his first ad by mentioning 1860. What happened? What's happening? What was happening in 1860? Yeah, you know, battle. I almost downloaded that video, man. I almost downloaded that video, man, and put it up here because
oh man.
Here's the thing. I don't know if everybody's seen it, but if you get a chance, go to YouTube and pull up Tim Scott presidential ad, and it'll show what James Battle's talking about. But I would say this, Battle.
But hold up. I would say don't do it.
No. See, that's the thing.
No. Listen to me. You know, I am now starting to not give energy to certain things, bro. Like that right there, dude. Like it's.
But here's the thing, OT. And
I
get
seen
what
it.
you're saying. No,
I seen it, man, and it really pisses me off. So, I'm just gonna leave it on that.
But this is why I tell people, and I get your point. But here's something we gotta also understand. In order for us to know the strategic moves that they're making, we have to pay attention to the seeds that they're sowing. You have to pay attention to the seeds that are being sown in order to know what their harvest they're trying to accomplish. That's all I'm saying. I don't agree with it. People ask me, man, why are you looking at a speech by Donald Trump? Because he's gonna say something. He's gonna say something that we're gonna not pay attention to, that we need to pay attention to. Let me tell you something. Of all the when they rank the presidents, when they rank them and they put him as the worst, you know why they put him as the worst? Because he says what they don't want him to say.
Yep. That's why I keep telling people.
Who you need to, like they always say. There's two people that's going to tell you the truth: a child and a drunk. Now, Ed number 3, Donald Trump. A child, a drunk, and Donald Trump will tell you the truth. Pay attention.
That's a fact on that one. And I ain't gonna sugarcoat it, man. Like, listen, man. He changed the whole dynamic, man. He changed the dynamic of what.
No. He didn't change the dynamic. He just don't know. Bro. He just don't know how to articulate what he wants to say in a way that we don't understand it. So he just says it.
Listen,
when they say dog whistles, take that out of the equation.
So hold on, wait a minute.
A child, a drunk, and Trump. I said it.
Listen, man. I mean, but he said it. Regardless of how he articulated, he said it. Period, point blank. Just like that old head that sit on them steps, he might not know how to articulate it, but he said it. So at the end of the day,
remember this. If you remember that old brother, we talking about that sits out there that know everything, we call him the mayor. The unapproved mayor. But he sits out there, and I'm gonna tell you how he know what's going on. When he say something to you, he may not be able to articulate it, but this how it starts off. Hey. He gonna get that stutter in the beginning, then he gonna tell you how he feel.
Come here, young fella. Come here.
Yeah, but he ain't just gonna go there. Come here, young fella. Come here, because he's so excited that he got something he gonna talk to you about. He tripping over his words. Come here, boy. Come here. Donald Trump can't stutter. He don't stutter. Because what he's saying out of his mouth, he has no hesitation on. I'm gonna say it again. A child will tell you when your breath stinks.
Boy.
A drunk will tell you what he know, even though he ain't supposed to tell you what he done seen and know.
Mm-hmm.
And Donald Trump would tell you what the next move is in this white supremacy movement that's going on in this country without even saying this is what the white supremacists are doing. Keep it real. Let's keep it real.
Oh man.
When they said something about, will you denounce the Proud Boys right now? That was our alert to know that he in the mix. He said, You want me now? Stand back and stand by.
Yeah.
What did he say?
Stand back and stand by.
There were good people on both sides.
Oh, man.
Come on, y'all.
Oof.
Man, we over, bro. But let me say something. I'm tired. I gotta find my route, my way, to push this energy into something. Because I'm gonna tell you what I'm not gonna do. I'm not gonna leave here being seen as a threat. I'm gonna leave this earth making them feel that they were threatened by me. That's my goal. And I don't say that in a way of disrespect or not. I want them to feel whenever they see me talking about an issue, they feel threatened about what I'm going to say, because it's going to step on some toes.
Yeah.
It's going to be truthful. And it's going to be a plan of action on how we're going to go about getting it fixed. And that's what we all need to do. We can sit in our homes and sit back and watch the news and think everything's going to be fine and want somebody else to pick up the baton and all. We all got a baton to carry.
Yeah.
That baton came from your family. Your ancestors passed that baton on to you that you're supposed to pass on to your generation. But sometimes we pass the baton too soon.
Yeah.
And we passing the baton and we ain't done shit since we had the baton. Let's just be real. We have not done what we're supposed to do with the baton in our hands. It's that simple. We got to get better.
Yeah.
Got to get better. We can't expect everybody else to step up if we're not stepping up. Give them a reason.
Shout out to the black farmers. I'm sorry, man. I just had to throw that in there. Shout out to the black farmers.
Yeah, we gonna have to have a conversation about that, because that's a whole show by itself.
Well, we might be. Matter of fact, you know what? I want to bring you on to that one, because my plan is to have the black farmers president come on. That's out there in Virginia. And we want to talk about certain things. So I want you to join in that conversation. So I'll let you know. It will be happening probably like in the next 2 months, because you know they got some they suing.
They got some lawsuits in here.
Yeah, man, they got some lawsuits out there. Yeah.
And this didn't just happen. This has been going on for a while.
Yeah, since the 1930s and 40s and 50s and 60s and 70s.
What people don't realize is, and not to go into it because I'll let him talk about it, but they've been taking their land. They haven't been approving them for loans at the rate that they are the white farmers. They haven't been giving them the what they call them? The land grants, any of those type of things to them compared to what they've given the white farmers. Matter of fact, they've been pushing them out from giving them these loans and the grants and everything like that. So yeah, I'd like to be a part of that.
Not only that, the meat sale, they getting lowball. They getting lowball.
Then you had some people, and we gonna get off there, but they had some people out here burning the crops of some of the black farmers, trying to drive them off their land.
Yep. So that's something that I want us to really dig into too, because that's not being spoken about, right? No. And we just trying to bring more light to certain situations that is happening. Period, point blank. You know what I mean? But like you said, they not a threat, they being threatened. So, hey. Hey.
I mean, we don't need to run it down, but I'll just put one thing out there. Black Wall Street, Tulsa, Oklahoma.
Yep.
Rosewood, Florida. Yep. But we ain't not gonna go. All right. I appreciate everybody tuning in.
Yeah.
I appreciate everybody tuning in. We're gonna have this. Oh, next week. Anybody who wants to be on, we're gonna have the barbershop talk next week. We're gonna have some in-depth conversation, barbershop talk.
Oh
James
man,
James Battle, get yourself together, bro. I need you back next week. But anybody wants to be on, send me a message, text me, call me, whatever. 770-880-4528, or you can email me, rwcoolings@yahoo.com. If you want to be on, we're gonna have a conversation next week. I don't know what the topic's gonna be yet, but we're gonna have some fun.
Well, this time I'm gonna have a haircut this time. You feel what I'm saying? I'm gonna have a haircut this time because I didn't get a haircut last time.
That's why you come to the barbershop and get a haircut. But
well, evidently the barber was missing. Okay, so
I was right here.
Listen,
I just ain't licensed. That's all. I just ain't licensed. I just ain't licensed. As I always say before we sign off, appreciate you for coming in this morning, OT. I appreciate you, bro. As I always say before I sign off, so you be getting me in trouble. Love yourself, love one another, keep your head up, and most definitely keep your faith in God. I appreciate y'all tuning in. We'll see y'all again next week. I'll holla. Peace.